This is Francis Ferrugia welcoming you to tonight's WM Daily News. Thank you for joining us. From the Sudan Tribune, we bring you the latest on Darfur. Darfur Peacekeeping Force said the relative calm in the restive region should encourage the stakeholders to seek seriously to settle the conflict peacefully, warning that the situation may return to square one. Speaking in a radio talk show on the outcome of last month's Tripoli meeting on regional security with the governors of North and South Darfur on Friday, September the 11th, Mr. Mesny stated that the dominant mainstream in Darfur is now peace-orientated and that the war was almost over. Mesny admitted there was no war in the literal sense of the word as compared to the situation in 2003-2004. He, however, pointed out that the conflict has not yet been resolved, noting that its after effects are still there, including the presence of the IDP camps and absence of comprehensive peace on the ground, a fact that renders the United Nations African Mission in Darfur peacekeeping operation challenging. The official spokesman argued parties to the conflict should seize this opportunity to push forward the momentum of the peace process, or otherwise the situation may at any time return to square one. He further stressed that the United Nations African Mission in Darfur was able to make some difference on the ground despite the impending challenges as evident in the improvement of the security situation, he said. The African Union and United Nations official reminded that the mission has a mandate to support the implementation of the Darfur Peace Agreement, the DPA signed in 2006, and any subsequent agreement to be signed with non-signatories of the Abuja deal towards a comprehensive settlement of the 6-year conflict. The spokesperson stated that the United Nations African Mission in Darfur was able to make some difference on the ground despite the impending challenges as evident in the improvement of the security situation. The mission spokesman, Mr. Mesny, stressed the United Nations African Mission in Darfur's impartiality and further said the mission is keen to establishing good working relationships with all parties, and it will remain a tool for helping them to achieve lasting peace. According to a report by Bloomberg, swine flu is helping charter operations like Air Charter Services plc and Jet Direct Service Limited win top-paying business travelers from the major airlines as the global spread of the pandemic accelerates. Revenue at Air Charter, a Kingston-upon-Thames, England-based operation with $200 million in annual sales, increased at an average rate of 32% month-on-month from May to August, Chief Executive Officer Tony Borkham said. Most are high-net-worth individuals, Borkham said in an interview. We've run 54 more flights in August than last year in executive jets alone, and some of that is an offshoot of not wanting to go to the general aviation terminals. Demand for private travel during the swine flu pandemic is boosting the charter business, worth about $33 billion a year worldwide. If the shift continues, it may hurt British Airways plc, France KLM Group, and rival carriers providing scheduled service. Airlines already facing losses due to the recession bank on business and first-class travellers for profit. Swine flu has infected more than 254,000 people since April and killed more than 2,800, according to the World Health Organization. The number of fatalities has more than doubled in the last month, with infections arising tenfold since June. According to Reuters, climate change could cost some countries up to 19% of their gross domestic product by 2030, a panel including major insurance, banking and consulting companies, as well as the European Commission said on Monday. Developing nations will be most vulnerable to the effects of climate change, but a lot of their economic loss could be avoided, a report by the Economics of Climate Adaptation Working Group said. Together with prevention and mitigation measures, risk transfer like insurance or catastrophe bonds can play an important role by capping losses from catastrophic events, increasing willingness to invest and providing price signals to financial markets, the working group said. The ECA working group is a partnership between reinsurance group of Swiss Re, consulting firm McKinsey & Co., the Global Environmental Facility, ClimateWorks, the European Commission, the Rockefeller Foundation, and Standard Chartered Bank. When future threats and the effects of economic growth are taken into account, the total potential loss rises to as much as 19% of GDP. The group's research focused on vulnerable areas in northern China, Georgetown in Guyana, Maharashtra in India, Mopti in Mali, the island of Samoa, Tanzania's central region, Hull in Britain, and South Florida in the United States. The fate of starving artist. The market for art reflects the relationship between art and society. Typically, markets is a demand-driven entity, and it does exist as a creation for society and for societies since the early ages of art. The art market has developed with the constantly changing relationship between art and society. A fundamental part of this relationship is in turn the relationship between artist and society. Comparing the Renaissance and Baroque artists to the abstract expressionists, it seems valid to suggest that artists today are confronted by more difficult marketing and business decisions than their counterparts. In the earlier times, the notion of art as business and marketing was more apparent than it is today. We are intrinsically addressing the transformation in the role of the artist from artist as craftsman to artist as icon. This shift over the last 4 centuries has played an important role in the way artists are seen by society today. Take Renaissance and Baroque. During the Renaissance and Baroque periods, artists had begun to move towards a more iconic identity. However, they were still deeply entwined in relationship to society that has been developed centuries before. The artist of that period was regarded as a craftsman, being on the same societal level as carpenters, goldsmiths, and gilders. Patronage to a single patron or church was common, and subject matter was restricted. Back in a day, art served more of a defined purpose, either strictly religious or plainly decorative. Hence the artist regarded himself as inclined to the side of trade and commerce, with realistic goals and ability to be able to earn money. In the past, the artist ran his workshop in much the same way as an administrator or shopkeeper would run his business. The artist's contemplation of art marketing was vital to its creation, as were sensible business practices and efficient production to make possible to meet the demand. Nowadays, the term starving artist is no longer a cruel joke, but a reality. It is rare for an artist to make it, and kids are often discouraged from pursuing art as a university degree or generally as a career. It is only a very small percentage that makes it in the art world, but the lucky few that do remain inspiration for the ones that try.